Well, President-elect Trump, he's repeated his warning to Hamas: return the hostages by inauguration day or pay a heavy price.
In a press conference yesterday, Trump also discussed the situation in Syria and the current state of the Middle East. Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem.
During his press conference, President-elect Trump weighed in on the sudden takeover of Syria by rebel forces. He also suggested Turkish leader Recep Erdogan was deeply involved and sees Syria as part of his plan to reconstruct a Turkish empire.
Turkey's the one behind it. He's a very smart guy. They've wanted it for thousands of years, and he got it. And those people that went in are controlled by Turkey, and that's okay. It's another way to fight.
Trump's comments come as U.S. officials fear Turkish-backed forces are massing on the border of northeast Syria for an imminent invasion. The territory is controlled by Kurdish forces and an independent and democratic government that was an ally with the U.S. in the war against ISIS. In a letter to Trump, leaders warned of catastrophic consequences if they were invaded and asked Trump to press Erdogan to not send troops across the border. As to Israel's war with Iran's proxies, Trump was bullish on his talk with Netanyahu.
The real conversations will start on the 20th, but we had a really good conversation, and I think we're going to be in a good place in the Middle East.
Trump said getting the hostages free is a priority.
As you know, I gave warning that if these hostages aren't back home by that date, all hell's going to break out, and very strong.
The release of the hostages is one of the toughest issues since October 7th. Now that Hamas realizes Hezbollah and Iran are not coming to its rescue, the group may be ready to finally bargain with Israel. Israel's defense minister told the Knesset Monday that a deal is the nearest it's been since the last agreement.
We all estimate that an opportunity is being created following Hamas's need to become more flexible, and I really hope we can advance to a practical stage in this process.
According to the Washington Post, Hamas is no longer insisting the war in Gaza completely end and all Israeli troops depart as a precondition for releasing hostages. Meanwhile, a new study reports Hamas has vastly inflated the number of Gazans killed in the 14-month war. The Hamas-run Ministry of Health in Gaza claims 45,000 dead. But the Henry Jackson Society's report disputes that number. It concludes Hamas's reporting has a number of distortions. Men listed as women to inflate female fatalities. Adults registered as children to inflate child fatalities, including 5,000 natural deaths, as well as people killed by Hamas in the death totals, including deaths before the war began, and no mention of combatant deaths, as many as 17,000. Military historian John Spencer said during its war with Hamas, Israel has done more to mitigate civilian deaths than any other military in history. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, we've been telling you for over a year now that the Hamas ministry, the Gaza Ministry of Health, is a propaganda arm of Hamas. It is a total invention of Hamas. Everyone involved in that is a Hamas fighter. So you cannot believe these numbers. But again and again and again, I'm hearing it and hearing these inflated numbers repeated, whether in Europe or in the United States. And it goes along with this whole argument that somehow or other Israel is involved in a genocide in Gaza. Well, there's no genocide at all. Israel is not trying to wipe out every man, woman, and child in Gaza. That's what a genocide is. Who is trying to wage a genocide? Well, it's Hamas, and it's right in their charter, where they call for a Palestinian state throughout Israel. And in that Palestinian state, there should be no Jew. They are the ones calling for the genocide. Israel is doing its best to protect civilian lives. But in that, Hamas is doing its best to put civilians at risk. And that's why they're putting their headquarters in hospitals and schools and UN buildings. That's why they're using civilians as shields. And that's why they're even using the hostages as shields. I just applaud the incoming president. We need to take a stand here. There are Americans who are hostages in these tunnels in Gaza. We have to set them free. If it were any other party in charge right now, the mainstream media would have a incredible drumbeat every single day. Go back to the Bush administration and the war in Iraq, where every single newscast, every single night, led with the death toll of American soldiers in Iraq. And it was all a propaganda effort to change administrations to another party. Let's call it for what it is, and let's please stand for truth. This misinformation coming out of Gaza should have never been repeated.
Spend this Christmas with family, the CBN family, right in your own home.
We're celebrating the holidays.
Enjoy the scenes and sounds of the season from around the world.
Each other now embrace.
To the kitchen.
Merry Christmas.
We're making holiday memories with the warmth and love of Christmas.
I hope you're getting in the holiday spirit.
It's a CBN family Christmas from our family to yours. Get the app or visit cbnfamily.com.